So any change, I believe, needs to start from inside. Because as a lot of us may know, we create our reality from inside.
Hi, welcome to the Change Makers podcast. I am so excited about our guest today, Stephanie Desquerre. Stephanie, great to have you here.
Hi, Daddy. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you. Stephanie specializing in burnout and stress recovery, helping women get back to balance and joy. And also she's written 2 books on the topic of burnout and stress. So from burnout to digital nomad, how to turn depression into a powerful tool for transformation. She believes in a more conscious and responsible humanity. That's why she created a YouTube channel about self-development and spirituality to support the change she wants to see happen within all of us.
Well, that's a beautiful introduction. Thank you.
You're welcome. Can you share with us what that you applied in your life that has transformed or create change in your life?
Actually, I have 2 things. One quote that's very inspiring me every day when I wake up from Gandhi, which says, if you want to see a change in the world, change yourself first. This is even on my website. I find it really inspiring. And second, I have a mantra that I'm using that someone channeled a year ago for me. And it says, if I allow myself to be me, then I allow the whole world to transform. So basically that means that by allowing myself to be authentic, to be vulnerable, and to be myself in front of others, it's the whole planet evolving and changing because people also get permission to be themselves.
I see. So by allowing yourself to be you allowing or you giving the permission to others to be themselves.
Yeah.
I love that. And Mahatma Gandhi is one of my, one could say someone that I really admired greatly. His quote, if you want to see the change out there in the world, you have to transform
yourself first. Yeah, because he was right. It all starts from our responsibility and from within. So any change, I believe, needs to start from inside. Because as a lot of us may know, we create our reality from inside. Our thoughts are creators. So it's about really understanding how inside we function and how our mechanisms are made to apply this change and to change our habits, change our behaviors, and change our actions in the world.
Yeah. So how would you say for example, I'm a woman and I'm in a relationship where there is no clarity, I'm unhappy in my relationship, and plus I work overtime, burnout, stress, and sometimes I suffer depression. What are the practical suggestion or something that if you can give it to me now, I can apply it to help me gain mental clarity, because our podcast is all about that, gain mental clarity.
It's a very good question. I actually posted a message in my Facebook group this morning summarizing what I feel is very important. So step number 1 is to first realize and accept that we are going through exhaustion, that our daily life is exhausting, that we're doing too much, that we don't have a balanced relationship. Everything starts with acceptance. Second, it's very important to stop where we are and to take some distance. So anyone suffering from stress, burnout, or depression, and realizing it, accepting that that's where they are, need to take some time off. And by that I mean taking 4 or 5 days off and go away to really take the space and breathe and realize what's going on in our lives. Third step, which is very important, is to also realize that what's most important for us is our mental stability. Mental health is, for me, having suffered burnout and depression, is the number one priority in my life, and for a lot of people too. And they need to realize that if you don't have mental health, you can go straight up to the wall. And fourth step is to take action and make a real change in your life.
I love that. So this girl or this person, she found herself in that situation where just everything just cluttered. I don't know where to focus on. And so what you were saying is that she needs to stop or accept first that she's in a mess, not in a mess, but she's in the...
That life sucks, yes.
That life sucks sometimes.
It's okay. But first you have to be honest and admit it, that you're not happy and that you're actually suffering from it. Yeah.
I love that. There's a saying like you once you recognize that you have a problem. I don't really like that word problem, but then you have the motivation to do something about it.
Yeah.
But if we are live in a denial, like, exactly. Oh no, I don't want to look at that.
No,
like right now.
Of course, if you say my life is perfect, everything's good. This is like a bit of a trouble. But it doesn't work. First is radical honesty.
I love that word, actually, radical honesty. My coach always said that, like, Daddy, you have to be like radically honest.
It's not easy
to yourself.
all the
And I was
time.
like, no, it's not easy. I'm 100% agree with it. It's not easy. Now, some people out there, when they look at the word burnout or the word stress, it implies negativity, like it's negative. We don't want to say that. So my next question is around, what are the positive things that you took out of being in that situation of burnout? What are the positive things that you learned from it?
Well, burnout is, first of all, I will explain what burnout is. Burnout is when you exhaust your inner resources. So it's very important to understand that it doesn't happen in one day. In my case, it took 2 years to exhaust myself, mentally, physically, emotionally. And it actually forced me to look at all the things I didn't want to see, that I was lacking boundaries. I hadn't learned how to say no to around me or to my boss or to anyone. I was always accepting and going for it without asking myself if I was tired, if I could do it, if I had the capacity, or even if I wanted to. So burnout taught me a lot of things over the years, because unfortunately I never reached out to anyone to help me, so I had to learn all by myself. It taught me to listen to my body, to listen to my energy level, to listen to my inner child crying, asking for rest, and to respect myself. And I also learned along the way to love myself, because I actually didn't know how to love myself, which I thought I knew, like everybody, when you think to yourself, oh, do I love myself? Well, yeah, of course, I'm not one of those people who doesn't love themselves. So I thought I was doing everything right when I was actually doing a lot of things wrong. So lots of learnings.
I see. So your biggest takeaway, I guess, from being in that situation where you burn out, you're in a situation like you were just stressed and all that, is to create boundaries, is to knowing your boundaries. Because I honestly with you, I'm also suffer from it, like not having boundaries.
Yeah.
And I just allow people to, like, you know,
Step into
your space where you
space,
need it. Like some clients, they say, "Hey, Daddy, can we do it on the weekend?" I was like, "Yes," but then after that, I was like, "No, the weekend
yeah,
is
well,
my."
that's how you learn. But it's
So I
very
learned the hard
important
way.
once you realize, you know, that moment when something is not aligned,
Yeah.
and when you're like, actually, I said yes, but I meant no.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for the next time, it's super important to recalibrate and to understand that it's totally okay to say no, because you're not actually saying no, you're saying yes to you.
yourself. That's right. When you say no,
It's because you're saying yes to you.
yeah, it's because you say yes to yourself, and this is how you can, one could say, avoid the burnout. Yeah. I really love it. Okay, so what I'm really curious about is that obviously you went through the process of depression, because that's why you written the book about, you know, how to get out of that. Would it be possible for you to share with us what are the steps that you applied in that moment that helped you to get out of that situation?
So it's like, you know, when you're suffering deep self-doubt, anxiety, depression, guilt, shame, all these things, the way out doesn't appear to you. You don't really follow something. But in my case, I was so overwhelmed with my mind, with myself, with my existential questions, that I started reading a lot of books. I started watching documentaries on YouTube about the soul, about energy, about the present moment, about meditation, yoga. And what I did is that I did binge learning to try to fill that void inside of me that I couldn't fill. And slowly, over the months, I realized that my perceptions were changing, that some change was happening in my understanding, in my feelings, in my emotions. So I would say I slowly educated myself. And as I felt so empty and so dead inside, I think that's when the change can truly happen, when you've reached your limits, when you reach the bottom. And I was just ready for the universe to show me the way.
I like how you put it. When you reach the bottom, you have no other options other than, hey, like, let's face the fact. And what I've learned is that as soon as we face the fact, and whatever that fact is, the fears that we have, the doubt, the stress, for some strange reason, they just like disappear.
I would say that there is so much to handle at the same time when you're deep down in the rabbit hole. Too much guilt, stress, anxiety, negative self-talk, so much stuff. That I think it's survival mode. At some point you just cannot process everything anymore, and your mind just goes blank. Like flat heart space. And I felt that for a while, like I couldn't think so much anymore, though I was still thinking and I had no answers. But it's like giving up the fight. I felt that.
Yeah, surrender to what is. Since you mentioned
to the pain,
surrender to the pain to transform the pain. Is like pain into purification. I learned from the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It talks about this transmute the alchemy into gold through acknowledging the stress and the suffering, those pains. Okay, so I understand. It's like you gotta accept it and face it, and face it.
That's the very first step, yes, to get out of any complicated situation. It's what you were explaining is one crucial, I would say, energetic principle, the principle of alchemy.
Yeah.
Transmutation.
Transmutation, that's right, that's the word, yeah.
It happens when you allow something to exist, and by allowing it to be and to exist, it ends up dissolving itself by itself.
By itself. Yeah.
And this is the same with depression, with emotions. We need to accept them, to let them come up to the surface and overwhelm us. And then the charge of the emotion decreases slowly.
Since you mentioned about the universal principle, I think you're right. Like when you do the opposite, which is fight the pain, because the universal principle is that whatever that you resist persists. What you fight, you're strengthening them. I see. So when the pain is there, it's just like you gotta acknowledge it and accept it and be with it, but not trying to run away from it or fight it or pretend, or just live in denial that the pain is not there. But it is there.
It is it definitely. It's the main step to change. Even like when you decide to change something in your life, to change your job, to get a coach to help you with your goals, or to transform something inside of you. First, you need to know that you need a change. So accepting that is crucial.
Do you have any resource that you would like to share with us or with the audience that can help them in terms of getting out from their burnout?
Well, I would say read my book, but not that I want to promote it or anything, but I think it's a good way to understand where someone is at, because I explain lots of questions that I had. I was a normal person, and the people reading it can follow me into coming into depression and slowly having self-doubt, low self-confidence. So it's it's important to understand how we get into burnout, and then I share some tools about how to reconnect to the present moment, how to understand meditation can help instead of medicine to regain mental balance. I share all the learnings, the healthy boundaries setting, how to say no, how to respect yourself and love yourself. And to be honest, when I was suffering burnout, I didn't find so many resources about it a few years ago. Mainly because probably I didn't know I was suffering burnout. I was just going through professional fatigue, I thought. And no. So anything is good, actually. There's a lot of videos now available on YouTube about people explaining what burnout is, what steps can be taken. So just read about it and realize that it's okay. What you're going through has happened to a lot of people, and that there are ways to get out of it.
Amazing. I followed you on Facebook, part of your group, and I observed all the comments that these people went through, the transformation that they went through by reading your book. And it was, although it's in French, but Facebook just has its thing, like it translates right away into English, and I was like, yep, I'm reading it, I know this. So, and also I watched few of your actually YouTube video, and this is just my personal perspective. What I really like about watching the videos is that your presence is like you are being there. I just feel that presence that you projected. I feel empowered just by watching that video.
Thank you.
And yeah, so I highly recommend you guys, if you want to get the book, it's on Amazon. It's again, From Burnout to Digital Nomad, How to Turn Depression into a Powerful Tool for Transformation. Yeah.
I would like to add something, if I may interrupt you.
Sure.
I think this presence you're talking about is because since I suffered burnout, since I wrote that book, I decided to be myself, whatever it takes. If I had to be rejected doesn't matter, because I rejected myself for so many years, working like this, exhausting myself, that now it's very important for me to deliver this message that being yourself is super important, to be vulnerable and to just be you. And that's what I deliver in my group. It's this me. I'm me, so be you. And that's why now when I speak, I just am me, and it's okay, you know. And that's how I take things.
Yeah, I love that, because there is a congruency between what you say, who you're showing up as, and who you are in person and online. And I think that's the create true transformation. And I observed that through reading all those comments. These people praise, and these people like, hey, thank you very much, Stephanie, you know, I read your book, and you know, it's amazing to witness that. And my last question before I know you have to go, what's your vision for the world?
Well, my story obviously helped create this vision for me. I believe that inner transformation is very important. If we want to create the change in our world, which has been, as you know, right now a bit collapsing, let's call it. I mean, lots of things are changing. But for me, it's very important to realize that before creating a change outside, with businesses, with companies, with communities, or whatever idea we may have or dream of, first it's very important to change inside, to change the way we treat ourselves, to change the way we respect ourselves, the way we love ourselves, and to learn to love ourselves unconditionally, to heal our wounds, to do the emotional work and all the inner work, to become stable in life, to stand up on our own 2 feet with stability, and then when we have that, we can create outside with alignment and love.
Amazing. So the focus should be inward, inner work, create that first stability, stand strong on your own 2 feet, one could say first. Then obviously outward change is inevitable. It will happen by itself, because you've already changed or transformed within. Stephanie, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for being here. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Daddy, for having me here for this first episode, and I hope it will be the beginning of a long series.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.